Right, ladies and gentlemen, this is an extremely scarce and sought-after volume of Uranian gay poetry of the early 20th century, written by A. Newman, and the title is a dead giveaway. It's called RONDEAUX of Boyhood. It's a series of sentimental poems in praise of sort of young men, school life, all that kind of thing. It's very, nowadays, rather sort of dodgy stuff, but it enjoyed a particular following in the early part of the 20th century. A. Newman was the pseudonym of a writer called Francis Edwin Murray, who was a printer in Brompton Road in London, and published these verses. This is an edition of 250 copies only, of this, which is one privately printed for the author, 1923. It originally had a photograph. It says at the front here, Lex Nude Frontispiece, which is probably just as well. It had originally, I suspect, a nude photograph at the front, but that has been taken away, so that's missing. It's been cut slightly, or rather roughly, as you can see. Somebody obviously very keen to get to the poem. So the cutting of the book done. Some of the pages are uncut. Some are rather roughly cut. That is cut, I'm afraid, right across there, so that the top part of that page is attached to there. So the cutting of the poems is rough, and the poems are sentimental poems addressed to sort of young men of a very sort of Uranian nature. It's an incredibly sought after, scarce item. I looked up on the internet. The first 5 copies of this I found on the internet were priced at £240, £307, £330, £350, and £450. Uranian poetry, written in the aftermath of Walt Whitman, Edward Carpenter, is highly collected, highly sought after. And as you can see, the title there is a bit of a giveaway. The general condition of the outside is actually quite clean. The spine is lightly detached, but the paper label on the spine is just lightly detached at the top, but it's still in place. The label there with its giveaway title is rather is nice and clean, and the cover is fine. The binding is tight, as I say. It's just that some of the pages have been fairly roughly cut. There's also a longish introduction by John Gambril Nicholson, the sort of doyen of the gay Uranian poetry movement, about this particular type of poetry. I'm also sending a John Gambril item independently as well. So there we go. Poems addressed to young men by A. Newman. Gay Uranian interest. Rare. Thanks very much. Bye.